Here.
Terry Almagass. John Ward.
Here.
Brady Slides.
Here.
Diane Page. Jeff Powell.
Here.
Eric Sunlight.
Here.
Kelly Schulter.
Here. Thank you. Do I have a motion to consider to waive the reading and approve the official minutes from the May 5th workshop meeting and the April 21st voting meeting as were attached to your packets?
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion or any changes you need made on anything? Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries. Okay, do we have any public participation this evening? Don't see any. Okay, we'll move on to presentations. And first we have RJ who's going to talk to us about the lease for the printers and the copiers. Thanks for doing all the work.
Oh, not a problem. So many of you realize that over the last, I've been here 30 plus years, that we had Bruce McCleary Business Machines, always did our copiers and printers in the high school, elementary district office. Great service. We really never thought about changing, even though we looked at the printing costs and stuff, and never thought of changing much, just because they're great service and just always used them. So April 1st, when he had retired, and the company was bought out. The company was bought out by a large conglomerate based in the state of Maryland. Their closest office is Youngstown or State College. And from talking to their techs, they shut Bruce's operation down completely, so everything will be drop shipped to us, printers, repairs, everything else. So instead of having something to us in a couple hours, it's now a couple days, which isn't going to fly very well for what we need. So Jeff, Aaron, myself took it upon ourselves to start looking around some different options, and we found a company based in Beeville and Seneca, PA called Hagen Business. Hagen Business Machines, or also known as Hagen Business One. They came down multiple times, pulled some told them what we print, showed the machines, what we expected for service-wise, things of that nature. Came up with a proposal which was quite happy for us. I'll say that right now. The proposal they gave to us was basically, they said, we'll lease all machines for a 60-month lease. The old machines we bought out of pocket and we ran until they were dead, so we had to worry about getting rid of them at the end of the lease. And that was a cost every year, buy new machines, had to budget that. So they gave us a proposal to lease all brand new machines, including the ink. And we're going to save approximately $10,000 a year the first year right off the bat by doing that, quality machines. I thought it was pretty good savings. They'll do all the service contracts with us, provide us all the ink with us. We pay per click, per page, depending on if you're printing on a black and white or color, it's different amount. That price we pay per click, per page, we locked in for 5 years of the contract, and will not go up, which is pretty impressive, I think. So our only additional cost in printing and copying in the district will be the paper cost. Everything else will be covered in the monthly fee. We'll be billed at the end of each month for how much we actually do print, not for a portion of we print, anything like that. They offer us four-hour turnaround time, so if we call them 8 in the morning, by noon, somebody's here working on the machine, trying to fix it. If it can't be fixed, and it's a crucial machine, they'll give us a loaner the next day, and we'll move on with that. The nice thing about this, at the end of the lifespan, we can extend that lease month by month. So if we're in a budget crunch or something, we need 4 more months to buy something new, or wait for money or a grant or whatever, we can do that, the same parameters. If we want all new stuff, they come and take all the current things and dispose of it themselves, so we don't have to worry about disposing of it, which is a pain. We don't realize that anymore with technology. So I think it's a no-brainer. The new machines will be very high-tech. They'll do approximately 45 pages a minute, black and white and color. They have some cool features. One feature is they'll do coillating, which everything else does. They'll do make packets and staple automatically, do a 3-hole punch, 2-hole punching automatically as well. 2,000 sheet capacities on the big copier printers we're getting, so we don't have to worry about putting that in there because the drawers open and slide. That's always a pain as well. So I think there's a lot of positiveness. Additionally, the print management software is very modern, so we'll be able to monitor better what's going on to see if we got a printer problem, or somebody's hammering a printer. Not to say they can't print, but just to make sure what's going on so we can adjust things. Additionally, for security, because we have to worry about IEPs, everything getting printed out anymore, everybody will be issued a personal PIN number for the machines. And so when you go to print somewhere, you can walk up to the machine in the district, type in your PIN number, and the print job will come out right there for you. So you don't have to worry about waiting to get it. You know it's going to print right in front of you. If it doesn't print in front of you, you know there's a problem with that machine. You alert somebody and go to another machine. So I think it's a lot of positives. Additionally, they're off think we need to save some more money because we don't have a lot of straight prints going everywhere. Plus, we can restrict the kids to only black and white instead of color, which would be a big cost savings as well. Because the number of color prints that come out from kids for not really needed stuff in color gets high sometimes. So that's pretty much what I got to see on that. Any questions, guys?
Did you happen, did we do a survey, or did we look at what we have in the district and see is there need for any more machines, or are we good with where we're at?
So Aaron and myself went around and we looked at all the machines we had, pulled up the usage, went back and extrapolated for a 5-year period to figure out a baseline of what each printer costs us to run, the prints on it. We feel we're pretty confident with the current machines we have. We're okay doing that. We don't need to add any more. We're going to look at some things. The old machines we all own, the idea is to phase them out and get rid of them. But if we see, like for instance, somebody needs a lot of stuff, Big Sherman needs them more, he needs one in there, well, we can repurpose one of the old ones for him to use to move on until end of life on that. Hagen Business will also come and service those machines. I think $95 from the time they appear here until they leave. Of course, most everybody else charges $150 from the time they leave the shop to they get here, so it's a savings there. Hagen supports a large number of school districts. They support Clarendon area. I believe they support Titusville Charter School. They do Beagle Medical Center. They do Allegheny Toyota. So they're a wide range, but they realize the uniqueness of a school, and they say, we're going to work with you to make sure that you have all the time when you need it. The other nice thing about it, they're going to offer us in-person live training as much as we need. The one thing we already talked about, I spoke to Dr. David about as well, is during the first day of the service next summer, break it into small groups and go through, because it's going to be a learning curve and get everybody trained. They feel once we sign the contract, they'll get them in here within the next 30 to 60 days. They'll come and train the staff members as well in the summertime so they get a feel for it, so we're hitting the ground running. So.
Good idea.
I have a question.
Yeah.
I think you covered it. It's only per click, you don't have a minimum you have to meet, right?
Correct. So in the
Okay, I thought
summertime,
the other
this
one
year,
had a-
our print costs might go way down, or might go up. You never know. Then you lose your print. Yeah, but it's all per click, and we don't own the coder cartridges, so we need one. They ship to us. The other thing is they have a dedicated person that monitors how much you're printing, so when it starts getting low, they'll get one to you.
That's what I was just gonna ask. They'll automatically send the cartridges.
So, and if we know we're gonna print a bunch, like if we know we're gonna do a bunch of printing in the next, who knows what, we can call them and they're gonna give us a supply of cartridges already, but we know we need extra, we'll take care of that as well. So, but that's all the maintenance, and the machines and everything included into that per click, so. I was quite happy with the prices. Just for an example, last year we spent, with doing better business with McCleary, $40,000 in toner and supply, and that's includes service. We're projecting about $29,500 right now with Hagen, just because of the pricing is so much different. So, any other questions?
Thanks, RJ.
No problem.
We appreciate
Thank you.
that.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Okay, we'll move on. We have two presenters tonight for insurance. So we'll start with Mr. Robert Best.
Good evening, how's everybody today?
Good.
I'd like outlines to think everybody's asked. Once is kind of a brief summary of insurance coverage for school districts in general. The other one is a CM region coverage summary. So, thought I'd spend a couple minutes going over this and answering any questions. Tom Macroshore previously deals insurance. Our office is over in Knox. Been there for inland marine coverage is, equipment coverage, tractors, mowers, that type of thing, band uniforms, instruments. And that's, inland marine coverage is anything that's portable, it doesn't necessarily stay here all the time, it travels. Any questions on that? Auto section, you have $1 million liability on the autos, and $1 million uninsured motors coverage. Vehicles are scheduled, I think there's 5 or 6, there's full coverage on all the district vehicles. There's a crime section of the policy, there's, I didn't include it in this, but there's $500,000 of blanket employee crime coverage. We cover employees if they abscond with funds belonging to the district. Included under that would also be computer crime. Property coverage, district currently has just shy of $40 million on all the buildings and contents of the buildings. Subject to a $2,500 deductible, which is a pretty low deductible. A lot of the carriers anymore, they want a $5,000 or even $10,000 flood for coverage. There's $1 million on flood coverage and $3 million in equipment, or I'm sorry, earthquake coverage, and subject to the deductible outlined there. Those limits could be increased. Don't think flood was ever a huge concern here.
If it floods here, we're in big trouble.
Boiler, machinery, and system breakdown coverage, that would be the same limit as the property, $39 million, and that would be if a boiler malfunction and possibly exploded, damaged the building. Also under that is the systems breakdown, like several years ago, we had power surge or brownouts that damaged an awful lot of equipment in the building, that's where that coverage would apply. And that's, like I said, subject to the same deductible. Any questions on any of that property? Workman's comp is the premium based on payroll, and I kind of left this summer in there to kind of break out. The district has an experience mod based on your claims experience, claims that have been filed, what's been paid. Currently, the district has a mod of 0.855, which anything under a 1 is good. You're getting a discount, you're getting credit for your claims experience. You also have a safety credit. David put together a safety committee. There's a discount, you save about $1,000 a year with that. With the safety committee, it kind of makes everybody a little more safety conscious. Keep track of it, pay more attention to what they're doing and such. I listed there the experience ones for prior years. 23 was the 0.859, which is still good. 2022 was the 1.0. Workman's comp pays, employee gets hurt, pays their medical bills and wages, so they'll let you back. School board liability, this covers you guys, decisions you make regarding the board and operation of the district. You have a $1 million occurrence and a $2 million aggregate, subject to a $5,000. And this coverage is written on what we call a claims made basis. All the carriers are on claims made. Included under your coverage is full prior acts. So full prior acts coverage, decisions that were made prior to you, if a claim results from that, you would have coverage for it. Otherwise, a lot of carriers will want to do a retro date of 7/1/25 if they write the coverage there. You want to make sure that you have full prior acts coverage for school. Any questions on that? I think it was important coverage for you guys. There's also umbrella coverage. There's a $5 million umbrella, which gives you an additional $5 million limits over everything I just outlined. The district have a total of $6 million in liability coverage. And then lawsuit. Cyber coverage, there's a cyber coverage included under for ransomware, hacking. There's a long list of cyber attack things anymore. Towards the bottom of the page here, I summarized the premiums over the last 3 or 4 years. The workman's comp fluctuated quite a bit. There was claims activity that drove the mod up. We actually changed insurance carriers 2 or 3 different times in the workman's comp to keep the premium down. And you know, the claims experience has improved. So anything under a 1 is a discount. Last page is just kind of an Acrosure attachment, summarizes services they offer and provide, commercial insurance, of course, employee benefits, payroll services, that sort of thing. And kind of outlines what all they can offer. The other handout I had was CM Regent, 20 carriers we write school districts with. They have pretty good, I like to use them because there's kind of a comprehensive outline of coverage for school districts. So I like to use them as kind of goes into depth coverages and liability. Currently, we have school districts insured with CM Region, Liberty Mutual, which is another large district writer, and then Utica. There's also Gladstone that we have access to, and Astra. Any questions on any of that?
So this quote from last year was with Acrosure. Is that what you would recommend for next year too, or would you look at CM Region?
That coverage is outlined in the current care, which is selective, and I'm not getting a quote from them. I actually have numbers in already from Liberty Mutual, Utica, and I'll have CM Region probably this week.
Okay.
And they're all comparable to what you're paying now.
Okay.
And I told Dave before the meeting, I got the quote in for the workman's comp. We always get a payroll number because workman's comp is based strictly on payroll. And got the payroll number off of Aaron and just got the quote in from, it's with workman's comp is with UPMC, has been for several years. They do a really nice job on school districts pricing and service, just mostly because they have a large presence here in Western Pennsylvania. So that's yeah, I have numbers in, like I said, Utica, Liberty Mutual, I should have seen Region this week. Gladfelder and Astra, I do have it in to 2 other carriers. Gladfelder was a little reluctant to quote it for me because they didn't think they could compete with where premiums are at. They at least give me a price. But that's where we're at now. And I am going to mark the workman's comp. I don't foresee anybody's going to get any better than UPMC on it. Like I said, with even increasing the estimated payroll, premium on it is pretty much flat. What you're paying now. Just plus your expense. Which is more or less UPMC's rates actually went down, so that kind of offset the payroll. Any other questions? Thank you.
Questions? Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, we're going to move on to Gallagher Insurance, and we have Doug McCausland. Are we doing a slide?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to move.
Since you don't know, I figured.
That's fine, I'll just get out of the way, though, so I'm
Yeah.
walking very here.
All right, well, good evening. Thank you for having me. And since I'm new to the district and I'm not the incumbent, I thought I'd tell you a little bit about who Gallagher is and who I am specifically, but I first wanted to send my regrets from my colleague Josh Daly, who would normally be here. Fortunately, he has some medical issues going on in his family, and he couldn't make it tonight, so he sent me. I'm the account executive for your account, and Josh and I would tag team it if we were selected to do your account. A little bit about me. This is a relatively new role for me. I spent the last 31 years in parent seat. I was a business manager slash finance director, operations manager for 5 different school districts in the Pittsburgh area, ranged from small districts with $22 million budgets up to $110 million budgets. So I've run the gamut between small and large and seen pretty much everything you can see over that career. It was a wonderful career. It was just time to move on after 31 years, and wasn't really looking to do anything after retiring other than maybe do some small consulting for school districts here and there. Josh called me out of the blue, and we had some conversations. I have worked with Gallagher in all 31 years that I was in school finance with all 5 districts I've worked with. I always use Gallagher because they have always provided me the best service. When I looked for vendors as a business manager, I always looked for people that I could partner with well, that was going to bring extra value to my district, that could help me improve programs. My goal as a business manager was always the philosophy of, if I can make things better and I can save money on utilities, insurance, all of those ancillary things that you spend money on, and you see it now as you're probably getting ready to do your budget. If I can save money there and I can have more money and resources for students, for materials, for teachers, for whatever the services students need, then that's my goal. So I've always approached it that way. I still approach it that way today. So we want to be your partner. We want to be your part of your team that helps you improve your insurance program throughout the district. So Gallagher's a very large company. We're a global company with over 11,600 global clients. We have over 500 professionals, so we have a lot of expertise on our team that we can pull on. Anytime something weird might come up, we probably have an expert that's handled it on our team somewhere. As far as school districts in Pennsylvania, we have, that really should be updated. I think we have over 180 right now school districts across the state of Pennsylvania that we broker for 14 of the 29 intermediate units, and we place over $102 million in annual premium. This is a heat map of where our school districts are located. We don't have that many up in this area, so we would really love to have the opportunity to be up here. I love this area. I've biked that trail many times in Edmonton. It's beautiful up here. But yes, we'd love to expand that. We're trying to get up into the Erie area right now. We have a couple opportunities up there. So we're pretty well known across the state. Here's a list of our clients. I don't list out specific schools that you should call. We feel pretty strongly if you called anyone on that list, they would give you a pretty good recommendation about what we do. We don't lose our clients from year to year very much. So we've had these clients for quite a few years. So feel free to call anyone on that list, ask them about us, ask them about our team, anything you need to know. This is Josh. He hates this slide, but I made him put it in the presentation because Josh is really recognized as a power broker, and that is a national recognition that Josh has received for the last 2 years. I've known Josh for 15 years. He's my direct supervisor. Josh has a philosophy of, while we're so big, we always look at every client as being special and unique. I've known enough being in 5 different school districts that they're all different. No 2 school districts are the same. What worked for me in one school district didn't always work for me in another school district. And I never tried to mold them into something they weren't. You try to work with what you have, and you try to make it better. The cultures are different in districts, and Josh and I both share that philosophy. So when he asked me to come work for him, it was a very easy yes. We joked for years while I worked with him that, oh, someday we'll work together. And I'm like, yeah, sure, Josh, we will. But now it's happening. But Josh is probably one of the most knowledgeable people I know in this arena, in the public sector arena. I've never seen him not know the answer to a question, so he's just, he's extraordinary. These are the major players, and this is what, we put the dollars value up there, because this is typically what we place with these major carriers in the school insurance arena. CM Region, obviously a big player. Utica, another big player. Liberty Mutual is starting to take a more active role in school districts now too. We put the numbers up there just to say we place a lot of value across the state with these carriers. We place a lot of premium. So we have got to know these carriers very well. So we become very good advocates for you and on your behalf when we go to these carriers, when we're talking not just about premium, but when we're talking about claims management. When something might not normally be covered for some other reason, we have been able to push those claims through and have them covered for school districts because we've built such strong relationships with our partners. This just talks about cyber. We'll talk a little more about that later, but more importantly, it's about having a partner that's going to come out and look at your overall program. If we were the successful client broker to be selected, we would probably come in here first and look at your overall program, look at your current policies, look to see that there weren't any coverage gaps in that policy. Could there be better levels of coverage for your policy? And then we would take it to market as well, and that's when you come back with your pricing. But all these types of things are part of our program. Looking at things you do when you orient new employees. Are you working with those new employees to let them know what your safety policies are? Let them know what to do if they have an accident. Where do they go? What do they do? Working with your existing employees, your principals or your administrators to say, when an accident occurs, do you know what to do? And what should we be doing? How do we get those people back to work more quickly than possible? Your experience mod is great, so you must not have too many accidents in the school district, which is a good thing. But those are all important strategies to use. Looking at your safety committee, do you have someone who comes there and walks through with you to do building inspections and comes to your safety committees to give you input about things you could be doing to make your program safer for the school district? Those are all part of the services that we provide. We also like to give back to the schools we're in. We do a Codes for Kids program every year. We gave out over 350 jackets last year. We contact school districts. We say, do you have any students that are in need? We don't identify them, but we deliver those codes to your administration, and then they can get to the kids the codes in any way they feel is best. We help out with back-to-school programs. We supply programs. If you have a special event, you have a foundation that's raising money, please contact us. We'll be happy to be part of that and be a sponsor. And then we use this approach, this 360 approach, when we talk about managing school districts' insurance programs. We look at your structure, your school district, your climate, your culture. We look at your policies. We look for any gaps in coverage or anything that might not be insured right now or uninsurable. When we have claims that occur, we're active in helping you resolve those claims as quickly as possible. We look at contracts you may have out there if you're doing some kind of construction. Are the contracts structured appropriately so that all of the liability isn't on you, it's on the contractor as well. And then we go out there and we market your insurance programs to get you the best pricing possible. That's a little more detail about it. Again, I don't want to waste too much time. You have all of these slides in front of you anyway. And then every year we give you a scorecard. We talk to you before we go out to market your program. We talk about what are your goals, what are the strategies we want to implement. You don't get there overnight. I always say Rome wasn't built in a day. School districts, they have their culture, they have their trends, but over time, those things can change and get better. It just takes time, and you can't really force things down people's throats. You have to kind of work with your team and what's going to work best in the district you're in, the climate you're in. And so you want to set those priorities, and then you want to reevaluate. If you do have a claim, you want to step back after the claim's over and say, what did we do well? What didn't we do well? What should we do next time? How can we improve the program? It's not just about, got that claim done, got it paid. It's more about how can that be avoided in the future? because nobody wants claims. Best claim is no claim, but when you have them, how do you react to it and how do you get it resolved quickly? This is just a little bit of a timeline of when we start all of that, but we like to meet with our clients at least quarterly, if not more often, and we're always available 24/7. Just give us a call. We'll help you out wherever we can, wherever we are. Even if we're not selected, you'll see notices that now come out since you're on our list now from me or Josh when there's something happening statewide. If there's a cyber attack statewide, we'll probably send out a notice to everyone to alert you of it and what the nature of it is, just to keep you up to date and informed about what's going on. There was a few months ago, a lot of people had trouble with fraud with checks. And so we alerted our school districts and all the people that we knew about that going on so that they could be alerted to the possible problem in your district. Like I said, when there is a claim that occurs, we have an entire department and team that advocates for you on your behalf. They'll get on your claim right away. If you've ever had to deal with an insurance carrier and an adjuster by yourself, it's not always pleasant, but that's what we're here to help you with. We're here to advocate on your behalf. We also, again, I mentioned this before, but we have a number of different services we come in. We help you put in place policies, procedures, techniques that might help you reduce or avoid claims in the future. And that's where I think my experience helps a lot, because like I said, it's one thing to say to do something, but it's another thing to actually implement it. And through working with Josh for the last 15 years, we've implemented a lot of those strategies differently in different places, like I said, but that experience I can bring to you as well. And then we have a number of technology resources. You'll get reports from us every month on loss runs and types of workers' comp claim accidents, so you can have nice charts that kind of helps you analyze what's going on and where there might be problems that we should be addressing. Josh was approached 2 years ago by the IUs and the state of Pennsylvania, the governor's office, to come up with a cyber insurance program that was more comprehensive for districts. The goal was better pricing, better coverage, and everyone gets accepted. Nobody's denied. And that's what they've come up with. That's being rolled out this July 1st. They've made the process pretty painless. It's literally a 2-page application, and if you've ever filled out a cyber application, you know how involved they can be. This one is not. You have the option to purchase higher limits up to $5 million. There are different tiers based on the level of security you have in place, but I would say that probably 95% of the districts that are going into this program are seeing savings on their premium and getting better coverage. And you can also, if we're not selected, you can still be in this program. I'm happy to send you the application and you can still apply for that, even if we're not selected as your broker. If you do apply, there's no obligation to use it. You can use your current cyber insurance policy and program carrier if the pricing's not better for you. So really, why Gallagher? Because I think we have a level of expertise. We have a lot of expertise behind just Josh and I, and we have that local presence as well as the global resources that are needed. We care about the districts we're in. We want to have that partnership, like I said. In the end, it's about selecting a broker that you trust, that can be your partner. I think if you called any one of our school districts we work with, that's the response they'll give you. We trust them. We're partners with them. We rely on them to give us the best advice and the best programs possible. Any questions? All right, thank you for your time.
Thank you. Thanks, Aaron. Okay, we're going to move on in our agenda. Do we have any board concerns this evening? Not hearing consent agenda. Please take a look at the items in the consent agenda and let me know if there's any you want voted on separately. If not, we'll vote on the consent agenda as a whole.
Just since the workshop, we did have a field trip and a conference added, if I can make note of that. PBIS reward, as you can see on the attachment, and then Dr. Jeff will come to Beaver Valley Intermediate Unit for professional development. We do have money in the West 2 grant to cover that.
Okay, is there anything you want pulled from the consent agenda? Okay, not seeing any, do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved. Second.
Moved in second. Is there any items for discussion? Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries. Patty, do you want to do finance and purchase? And we're going to break for an executive session after G so that we can discuss the insurance contracts, and then we can come back and continue that.
Approval and authorization to pay bills for May of 2025. So moved.
Second.
Okay, any questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstention? Motion carries.
And we have a report, I'm gonna group B, C, D, through F. Stacy's here. These are reports of receipts and activities for the, district for first program elementary, activity and yearbook. So moved.
Second.
Okay, any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries.
Cafeteria report, Stacy.
I don't have a whole lot this month. It's kind of a slower meal month for us, but a very crazy meal month for us because I think just this month we have 11 field trips. So that, depending on how many kids we have in and how many kids we have out, there's a lot of changing, but we do, kids always have an option of packing a lunch from home or getting one from us. And we've had quite a few of the kids taking from us again this year, so that's been nice. Still no information from USDA. I still don't have a paid lunch equity tool. We're being told that it should roll out to us the beginning of June, and at that point, we'll be able to determine lunch prices, especially for adults, and what we'll need to go with pre-K, so we can get a contract ready to go to them for next year for feeding their students. We're all kind of getting a little antsy because we know we need to get these on agendas and passed before school starts, but we just don't have that information yet. Sitting in a bunch of webinars this next week. One, we've always had a Buy American provision where we are supposed to buy American as much as physically possible unless it's not available, whether it be a banana or something tropical. And then there's some leeway. Now they're going to have a tracking sheet. There's a certain percentage. We have to track every item and where it's, not just where it's purchased, but where the items are manufactured, where they're grown, all the way from the minute it was planted or grown to the minute it gets to us. From what I hear, it's going to be a very time-intense tracking process. So we'll be sitting in on that, and then the other one is just the final rules on the new meal patterns that are coming in again in between 2025 and 2027. So I'm just looking forward to getting some information so we can start next year off. But up until USDA lets us know what's going on, we're all just kind of holding pattern right now.
Thank you, Stacy.
Thank you. All right, so we're going to break for an executive session. Note the time, 6:46. And we will return to continue business. 7:10 from executive session, which was to discuss contract. All right, I think we're ready to roll. CJ, are you with us?
He was while you were in executive session because he checked in.
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay. Thank you. Yeah, he joined us in there, so I want to make sure
Said
you.
you're here.
Okay, Patty, back to you again.
Okay. Item H. Consideration to approve the contract with Hagen Business Machines of Meadville to lease our printers and copiers. So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any other discussion or questions? Okay, all those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries.
Item I, consideration to approve approving Gallagher Insurance as the Allegheny Clarion Valley Insurance Broker. So moved.
Second.
Okay, moved and seconded. Discussion. Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
Aye.
Aye.
Did you get that, Sarah? So where are we at? Are we good? How many ayes did we have? Two. 2 ayes?
CJ, what did, Cliff vote, yea or nay?
He didn't. CJ,
Yeah,
you're an aye or a nay on this?
I couldn't hear it very well. What motion was it?
The motion for the broker for insurance,
For
for Gallagher.
Aye.
Okay, so we have 3 ayes and 4, 3 ayes. Who voted aye? 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, 4 ayes,
And that's it.
5.
I think it's 5-2.
Okay, all right. So motion carries. Are we good, Sarah, with that? You got that? Okay, and that's, okay, we're good with that. Let's move
Yeah.
on.
Consideration to approve the all-access membership package, except, I'm sorry, that's not what it's called, I apologize. Consideration to approve the Arbiter game package for $700 plus a $195 startup that will only be used this year for the startup. It'll be $700 ongoing.
That's underneath the instructional report.
Yeah, that's later on.
Oh, I thought it was this all-access membership package.
No,
I'm
that's
sorry.
our PSBA.
Sorry, my fault.
No, you're fine.
Okay, consideration to approve all-access membership package with PSBA board docs in the amount of $10,500 for the 2025-26 school year as attached. So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion on that? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries.
Erin, do you want to present the budget information?
Sure. Motion, or requesting a motion, I guess. Consideration to approve budget A, budget B, or budget C to raise the index. Indexes are 0% increase, which would be, the use of fund balance is 1.3 expenses went up, but the revenue also went up, so they wash. So the numbers are a little different, but it's the 400,000 for the in and out for that grant.
So Aaron, just for clarification, budget A is at 0%?
Zero, yes.
Budget B would be 2.5%, and then budget C would be raising to the index of 5.4%.
Are we able to stay, or are we at a deficit if we don't raise?
Yeah, it would be, if you don't raise it all, it would be a 1.3 million would come out of the fund balance at the end of the year. We'd be spending
And if you do raise to 5.4,
80,000.
so I'm going to move forward with consideration to approve budget C and raise the index to 5.4%, approve the preliminary school budget for 2025-26 in the amount of,
$20,131,428.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, moved and seconded, discussion.
Just keep in mind, there are a lot of moving parts. We're not sure where we're going with federal reserves, federal funding coming in. The state budget's not approved right now. The governor's looking at pulling $1.2 billion out of the rainy day fund. We have a number of contracts that are not ratified at this time. So we have a lot of moving parts. The expenditures are similar to that. We do have the West 2 grant in there. That is part of the governor's budget. We will be in year 3 with that. And from what I understood the other day, we may be able to get into a 5-year cycle next year. So it may be a little bit more consistent with the revenues coming in, but we're not there yet. So with all that being said, that's the budget that we have in front of me this evening.
And we're hoping that you had a good sense that possibly we'll have cyber reform.
Yes. Yeah, exactly what that looks like, we're not sure. Right now, if we had that cyber reform with the increases and decreases within the state budget, the district would save just over $300,000 estimated from this budget. But again, there's a lot of moving parts before we start taking that in as a potential savings for the district.
and I think with the information we have at the moment, it's a deficit spending of 80,000
Yes.
and of 5.4%. And it seems the most responsible piece in the
I just feel like.
Hey Aaron, I have a question for you.
Sure.
Do you hear me?
Yes, go ahead.
Hey, was the 80,000 in the negative or positive? I really couldn't hear that well.
Negative. It will spend that out of the fund balance.
Okay, thank you.
Sure.
The only thing that concerns me, we've raised taxes. I know we need the money, but we raised taxes for the last 10 years.
Yeah.
Plus, we have a reassessment in Clarion County. I know it doesn't affect what we get, but we are going to have people that are going to be hammered by that in some ways possibly. And I know with the economy, people are, facing a lot of issues. So that's my only concern. I can see, that we're at a deficit.
What was the deficit of option B of 2.5%?
1.2. Which seems high, 1.2.
Yeah, why is it only point?
Yeah. Well, you're only increasing revenue by 87,000 on the revenue, because it rebalanced everybody else's, or everybody's. So you stand to gain 175,000 on millage, the other side.
Okay. So we're basically getting 175,000 more funds if we raise 5.4. Not because of the reassessment or any of that, that's just because we're raising the millage.
Right.
And Aaron, did you run the numbers as far as what that looks like for an actual taxpayer on a?
Yeah, so I took random numbers for assessed values, and actually on the millage for Armstrong, it goes up 1.45 millage, which actually they will save roughly $7. Butler is a 3.45 increase on millage, which is roughly $35. Same with Clarion and Venango, and those were assessed values at roughly between 29,000
1.45 mils? That can't be right.
1.45 is Armstrong.
Millage?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's the increase.
Oh,
Not the millage.
what's the actual?
$35.77.
That's not millage.
That's per person.
Oh, okay, 35 point what?
77.
Okay.
Butler's gonna be $97.76. Clarion is $54 or $54.46. And Venango is $17.15. That went up 0.75 or no. That was the least.
So 2 goes up, 2 went down, or I think all went up?
They all went up.
Okay.
Oh, but between the tax bills, Armstrong went down.
Yeah, so 3 went up.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Any other discussion? All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Aye. Abstentions? Okay, motion carries. So we will be going to the 5.4.
Item L, consideration to approve the local portion of revenue to support the proposed budget resulting in the following tax levels in the 4 counties. Armstrong County, 35.77 mils compared to the 24-25, 34.32 mils. Butler County, 97.76 mils when compared to the 2024-25 at 92.25 mils. Clarion at 54.46 mils when compared to the 24-25 at 57.67 mils. And Venango County at 17.15 mils compared to 24-25 at 16.4 mils. $5 per capita for section 679, $5 per capita for Act 5511, 1% for earned income, 1% real estate transfer, 2% for discount where applicable, and 10% penalty where applicable. So moved.
Second.
Seconded. Any discussion on that? Basically summarizes what we agreed to with the increase in the index and our total budget amounts. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries. All right, we'll move on to personnel. Eric, could I ask you to do personnel?
Sure. Letter A, consideration to approve the request from employee number 27 to utilize sick days concurrent with family medical leave as needed. So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries. We're going to table.
So I just skip it?
Yeah, we were going to table that because we don't have anybody at this point to hire. So based on the interviews that have been conducted by the applicants.
Letter C, consideration to approve accepting the letter of resignation to Jessica Lukes, cross-country coach, dated April 28th, 2025. So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries.
D, consideration to approve advertising for the vacated cross-country and head coach position. So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Discussion? Again, it'll be like last year, I believe, that, if we don't get the numbers for the team, we won't need to hire a coach, so. But at this point, we're going to advertise, so. Any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries.
E, consideration to approve advertising for elementary special education certified life skills teacher. So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion?
We have autistic support in that classroom too, so when we advertise, we'll advertise for a special education teacher for life skills / autistic support classroom, just for clarification.
And that would be the position that, we have a teacher now that's moving to the kindergarten,
Yes,
correct?
that's
So that's opening abstentions, motion carries.
F, consideration to approve advertising for an elementary certified fourth grade teacher. So moved.
Second.
Move in second, any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstentions, motion carries.
G, consideration to approve hiring the following 5 AC Valley students for summer 2025 work as follows: Ava Snyder, Malia Page, Caitlin Wolf, Colvin Elliott, and Madeline D. Hart. So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded, any discussion? All those in favor? Opposed, abstention, motion carries. All right, Brady, would you do instructional service for us?
Sure, elementary report.
So the biggest thing that happened in both schools, I'm assuming, since the last meeting was the PSSAs. So we have wrapped those up last week. I actually had to be absent that first week of PSSAs, so I wanted to say a big thank you to Mrs. Thurber for jumping in and taking that over the first week, and to Sarah Henry for supporting her and I through this entire process. Everything went very smoothly. The kids worked very hard. The teachers all had like incentive plans, so kids could earn tickets while they were testing. And they have been getting their rewards from that since then. So I really think that everybody did the best they could, and we'll see what the results are when the scores come back. The quarter 3 TSI monitoring for our TSI designation, even though we are out of that designation for next year, we still have to continue our monitoring through the remainder of this year. So I put a handout at your seats that shows what we reported for quarter 3. Mrs. Thurber and I worked together on that to get it in by the deadline here last week. We were well above the goals in both our attendance and academics. On the handout, you can see our target for quarter 3 of attendance was 77% or higher, and we are at 93.66%. So we're doing well in the attendance area. And then in ELA and math, our target for both of those is that our progress monitoring data will show evidence of growth quarterly. And you can see, basically when you look at the triangles, you want the red to get smaller and the green to get bigger. And you can see, first in ELA and second in math, that we have reduced the tier 3 or the at-risk category of students from 24 to 18% in ELA and from 15 to 9 in math. And we have increased our tier 1 from 35 to 47 in ELA and 28 to 40 in math. So our local data is showing good numbers. Hopefully that's reflected in our state scores as well. Last week on Friday, May 9th, we had our annual spring choir and band concert. It was very well attended by the families. Great performance by both the choir and the band. Kudos to Mrs. Lowry and Mr. Green for getting the kids prepared and putting on a good show. If you missed it, you can still catch it on the ACV website. There was a live stream of the show. And lastly, just some upcoming events that anybody is welcome to attend. This Wednesday, May 14th from 5 to 7, Mrs. Nemelli will be having, and I think Mrs. Forsythe helps out too, they will be having their annual art show. You can see there's some art starting to pop up already. It's a really neat event where the kids have stuff displayed throughout the downstairs here. Their artwork is pretty amazing for little ones. This Friday, the 16th, is our metric meet out at the track starting at 9 a.m. The 21st, we will have our annual 6th grade recognition ceremony. That's at 1 o'clock. Our STEM team has prepared a full day of STEM activities for May 23rd, trying to keep things fun but educational. And our PTO has prepared their annual fun day for May 27th. We really appreciate all their efforts throughout the year. There's lots of field trips happening right now, thanks to the PTO. And then they sponsor that fun day as well, and the kids have a great time at that. And our last event for the year will be May 29th, our PBIS Quarter 4 Reward Day, where we take K through 3 to the Emlenton Park and 4 through 6 to the Parker Park for meeting their quarterly PBIS goals. So lots going on in the next few weeks to keep everybody busy. It's hard to believe we're there already, but we are. And that's all I have for tonight.
Thank you. We have a secondary report, please.
Sure. As Lori mentioned, there's been a lot of testing at the high school also. PSSAs are completed, they're packaged up, shipped back to the state. At the high school, though, we are right in the middle of our Keystone testing. We do ELA this week and math and science next week. We we also completed all of our AP exams. So hopefully, middle of next week, we will be done with all the assessments. The senior trip to Toronto was a success. Everybody came back happy, lots of laughs, lots of memories, and no issues whatsoever to report on that. The seniors are going to be very busy the next couple of weeks. In fact, they've been busy after coming back from the senior trip. We had graduation projects last Friday. From what I've been told by all the teachers, the students did a very nice job. I have 34 senior projects on my office floor right now. I have to go through, just verify that all the things have been met. But the students did a fantastic job overall. I think that, I know that a lot of people grumble about the senior projects and, you know, how those things play out, but it really is a great benefit to the students to be able to be exposed to businesses within our community, to go to colleges and visit various colleges, see what's out there, and just have that exposure to what's needed once they enter their next step of life. Which, speaking of, graduation is on May 28th at 7 o'clock, and everybody here is invited. Along with that, on the 28th, we will be doing our recognition assembly and awards assembly. That's 10 o'clock at the high school, and those of you in the board, if you would like to show up to that as well, see what's going on, you're welcome to do that. We also, for the 11th graders, we held mock interviews at the high school, and our students wanted me to pass on our appreciation for the business leaders that came in and interviewed those kids. And that kind of gives them an idea also of, you know, what's going to be expected with, once they graduate and move on to the next step of life. The interviewers said that our students were fantastic and that they were very respectful and listened to the criticism once they were finished of, you know, what they could do better next time. Let's see, student schedules are almost complete for 25-26. We're working on grades 7 and 8 right now, just trying to balance out classes, make sure that everybody gets the classes that they've asked for as much as possible, and just trying, you know, to cover everything as well. I will work through the summer as far as manipulating teacher schedules and trying to get coverage for things like study hall and in-school suspension. That's going to be a lot of creative manipulation going on there. Finally, a big thanks to our community for the support of Teacher Appreciation Week. We had various things that occurred throughout the week, but the community really you know, has blessed our teacher, and their kindness and generosity was very thoughtful, and we just want to show our appreciation for that and thank them. And as far as athletics, I'll turn that over to Mr. Sherman.
Okay. I have basically just a quick update where our spring sports are for each team. Varsity baseball is currently 9-7. 2 games left. They play tonight at Reynolds, and they have a game tomorrow night at Keystone. So we'll see where they fall record-wise, but they probably will be declaring for the playoffs. So that happens the 19th is the first play date for the playoffs. Varsity softball right now is 6-9. They also have 2 games left. They play Brookville tonight, and they have 1 more game with Reynolds. JV, softball and baseball kind of took it on the chin this year. We try to schedule a lot of like round robin things on the weekends when you're not losing players to the varsity team. It's tough to do a split squad for a lot of schools. So we try to set things up on the weekend, and it seemed like every weekend we canceled. It rained. It was just awful. So it was very difficult to give us a lot of JV coordinators for our baseball and softball teams. We did, however, manage to get in roughly between 6 to 8 junior high games for baseball and softball, and I think they're still playing. I think they might have even played tonight. I have to look at my schedule. I can't remember them all. But we were able to get some time in with the JV and the junior high programs. Varsity track is preparing for the District 9 championships this Friday. We have, and I didn't really look at the numbers, it just kind of occurred to me sitting here. We have 18 kids going from both schools, boys and girls, on various relays, individual events, out of less than 40 kids. So our percentage of kids that have qualified for the district championships is pretty high. So it speaks volumes for our coaching staff and the kids for getting out there and working and improving themselves. And then finally, we have junior high track has participated in the Oil City and Franklin Invitationals. We actually hosted a meet with North Clarion and Red Bank and Union on the 24th. And they have their final event at Montauk on the 14th, which will be this Wednesday. And that'll wrap up their season. So things are winding down, and it's been chaos, but we're getting there.
Thank you. So consideration, so we're gonna amend this motion here with Arbiter. Consideration to approve the contract with Arbiter Game in an amount of $700 plus a $195 startup fee. So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? And just for public awareness, that is the scheduling component for scheduling practices and games and transportation as well. Okay, all those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries.
What's two report, please?
Good evening. I'm happy to say that we have a total of 15 graduates for Westview since the facility opened, 16 next week. We have another one. Students are really taking more ownership of their education. They're getting excited, and the fact that they get to see other students graduate. We actually had a student graduate last week who told the students, you need to work hard so you can graduate too. So I think it's catching on fire, which is really nice to see. They definitely enjoy their education there. That's definitely the highlight of their day, and we're hoping to continue that. We had Keystone's exam this week and next. We are tentatively planning to have ESY at Westview for 2 weeks in July. As far as scheduling goes, we're looking to add a vocation period presently. They just have vocation as a pull-out class, so we're looking to add that in permanently in their schedule. Is actually one of their periods. So how vocational works is we have one ACV teacher in there, she's the main teacher, and then we have 4 other ROP staff members that staff that department. A concern that I have is that ROP pulls their staff members frequently because they are short-staffed, so oftentimes I would just have my staff member in there. Dr. McDivitt and I have spoke about possibly hiring someone as a teaching assistant or something to support that. You know, we are thriving in that. And as you saw, they came here and the kids, I mean, it's packed. When I first got here, we couldn't take more than 1 or 2, 3, maybe 3 max students in there at once, you know, due to behavioral issues. Today I walked in there, there's probably 10 kids in there. So that really says a lot, how they're engaged, they want to learn. But again, my concern is I can't control the other side. They often get students pulled out, so, you know, possibly hiring another staff member to support our staff because we don't want to lose anything in that department. So that's one of the things we were looking at for scheduling next year. I've obviously had ongoing discussion with Melanie about starting a pull-out resource room. It is needed for our students. You know, that would support the special ed teacher we wanted to hire and then possibly in the future as well. But that's definitely going to make sure we're in compliance as well as assisting and helping students individually, academically. Again, we're looking to add more and more academic programs. I would love nothing more to have an art and a music program, a little bit harder to find an art/music teacher, but we're gonna have to get a little bit creative even if we can do it sometime. So I think these kids deserve that, and like I said, it is the highlight of their day. So really excited. There's a lot of great things going on there, and the kids are being really cooperative in the academic setting. So we're very thankful for that. And thank you for your support of Westview.
I have a question. Do you work with Northwest Industrial Resource Center?
I have not, no.
Okay. There's a woman by the name of Tara Lawrence, who's with them, she does a lot of workforce preparedness.
Okay.
Extremely enthusiastic, and I mean, heavy on the extremely. It's good, like it's contagious.
Okay, great.
I know your kids can't go out and be placed necessarily in some of the shadowing opportunities that they have. And this is from Mr. Jordan to be considering as well. But they do virtual ones
Oh,
as
great.
well.
Oh,
And
okay.
she connects you with, like Elwood Group, which is a forge in Lawrence County and up in Warren, like, she connects you with the businesses to
Great.
show what they do, because kids don't
Sure.
know what they do. And it's heavy on like mechanical type of things, but I think that our kids have no clue
Yeah.
what happens behind those windows. And I think there's a segment of them that would be very engaged with it. And I'm talking from excuse me, high school diploma through postdoc, college opportunities with all these industries.
Great.
So I think it's something worth exploring, to get our kids to see where there is opportunity. And she only covers north, like Clarion and North, Mercer and North. But there's counterparts that go further east. The next one, they split them off for
Okay.
it's IU-10, Warren, Elk, Cameron, I don't know. But they're split. There's
Okay.
another group that's based out of St. Mary's that
Great.
does the same thing.
Thank
So
you.
I would
Yeah, we just
encourage you
started,
both to look at that.
we just started integrating Smart Futures, which is a career track, so it would definitely tie in with that. And there's videos on there so they could look into, what their future careers.
Just hearing her talk, like, I think that would bring an element of interest to the kids.
That'd be great. Yes, thank you very much.
I'll share that, or her contact information.
Yes, thank you.
Did she leave anything for federal programs report?
I believe she's on the Zoom. Kristen?
Oh, okay, sorry about that.
Hello, everybody. I am reporting live from Hershey, Pennsylvania, and the Federal Programs Conference, actually. So I apologize for not being in there in person today. This is some exciting news to report. So I wish I could be there, but this was the best I could do because there was some important information that I was gathering today regarding federal programs. Something I also consider to be good news in the wake of potential changes with the funding. They did report out this morning that next year we expect to be flat funded, so no decrease. They're expecting that for us for the 25-26 school year. So to me, that sounds like good news, and that consolidated application will be opening soon, and we can make our submission starting July 1st. So working on doing that so we can get the full benefit of that performance period. I know that Aaron and I are working really hard to finish up on June 30th with our current consolidated application and doing all of that in a timely manner, finishing the FERs for that and closing this out. So we just high-fived over that last week, and we are on our way to doing that. It comes with our state grant. Super proud of this and very, very excited for our school district and our community and our students. And this might be my one and only time that Meg didn't have posters to pass out or that I, the award letter, but officially we have AC Valley has been awarded the PA Smart Innovation Grant. Super proud of it for many reasons, but mostly the cross-secular partnerships that have committed to us and working with us. And I'm just going to publicly thank Patty also for putting me on to that and encouraging me to take the rest and giving me this
losing you a lot here.
If you didn't hear Aaron, we were to, the facilities that apply for the, you're losing me?
Yeah, you're breaking up a lot.
I haven't moved.
I know, but like Aaron said, hotel Wi-Fi isn't the best.
It is not, and how about now?
We got you now.
Step outside.
Yeah,
Any better here?
yes.
Okay, well, if you didn't hear, we were awarded the $400,000, and, over 200 facilities applied for the innovation grant, and I believe 17 were awarded anywhere between $400,000 and $450,000 for the grant. So, for AC Valley to be one of those is pretty awesome for our students, and I just want to highlight the partners. Clarion County Career Center offered a letter of partnership in the Land and Flying Fork out of Pittsburgh, offered their partnership. They have partnered with facilities across the state as well who have already won this grant. So looking forward, actually I'm going to go visit their facility in Pittsburgh to see what they have to offer and kind of brainstorm with Nathan Fields out of that organization. Penn West Clarion has committed to help expand maybe some of our higher education or teacher development. And also I got a letter of commitment from the Allegheny Riverstone Center for the Arts, which I think is critical, and I think that's what made us stand out in our application process, that we incorporated the performing arts into the technical and STEM aspect of this. So when it comes down to our capital project, I'm considering this piece the icing on the cake. Maybe some of those things that we couldn't get technically in there, we will be able to get now. So super excited, like I said, for our students, and I really think that AC Valley Auditorium is going to be a showpiece for Western Pennsylvania. And I don't know if I cut out when I said this, but I did want to say thank you to Patty for putting me onto this and making, giving me the confidence to go for it. And I'm super pumped for the students of our district and our community, actually.
Great job, Chris.
Thank you.
Yes, any questions for me?
Nope.
Nope, we're good.
Okay, I'm gonna go eat some chocolate, but I'll be thinking about y'all.
Hoping you're bringing some back for next month.
Okay, I'll see if I can work that into the grant. You guys take care, thank you.
Thank you, safe travels.
Thank you.
We have a district report, please.
Thanks, Brady. Just to get started, we've been talking about the 25-26 school calendar, and as we finish off the school year, I wanted to provide some clarification as far as building snow days and remote learning. The 25-26 school calendar has 3 building snow days. The district will use 3 remote learning days in addition to that. All building snow days will be used prior to using remote learning days. The days for the built-in snow are as followed: March 13th, March 16th, and April 2nd. If needed, the next 3 snow days will be remote learning, and then all other days will be added to the end of the year. And I'm just communicating that out. I'll get that out to the families as well. Next up, legislative work. May 6th, PASBO, Northwest Superintendent Group, and myself, we went out into Harrisburg and met at the Capitol. It was met with historical attendance to the point where they had to close the doors for the first time that anybody in the Capitol had been part of. The educational advocacy started with Senator Pittman, Representative Lee James, Senator Scott Hutchinson, Representative Aaron Bernstein, Representative Schroyer, who's in charge of the Educational Committee, and then we were going to meet with Representative Pashvine, but his meeting got canceled. We talked about cyber reform, and we talked about unfunded mandates throughout the day. We had a couple other items that we had discussed as well, but it seemed like the discussions were well received, and there was a lot of collaboration going on. In addition to that, there is a number of bills that's being discussed at this time. House Bill 1404, career and technical centers. When we pull people out of the industry into the careers center, they have 3 years to obtain their certification. They're going to extend that to 5 years to provide a little bit more opportunity to get some of those professionals into education. House Bill 1407 is a change with certifications. Currently, we have elementary teachers that are certified in pre-K through 4th grade. They're going back to pre-K through 6th grade or 3 to 11 years old. And then the high school certifications will be from 6th grade to 12th grade. And that'll be a lot better for scheduling and employability for those students. In addition to that, there's Senate Bill 700. That's a literacy bill that is being discussed about requiring screenings for K through 3 students and grant-supported literacy programs. House Bill 1372 is a cyber charter reform bill, and there's a number of different items that did pass out of the Senate and is being referred over to the House. And then the House is discussing a Bill 1326 that's similar in nature. Senate Bill 10 is a scholarship award bill, which is pro-private education, so we're not supporting that bill. And then Senate Bill 227 is amending the public school code and providing a right to know for the Pennsylvania School Board Association. In addition to that, the House will be back in session May 12th, and the Senate will be back in session May 12th, and then they'll work throughout June to hopefully pass a budget. And at your seats, I do have a couple handouts that I took with me, and there's some data on there about AC Valley. You can take a look as far as the different discussion points we had, how much cyber school has been costing us. You know, back in 22-23, we spent $879,319 that we sent out east. And between 15-16 and 22-23 school year, our cyber costs went up 401%. And that was data that I took out and shared with all of us. Brady, that concludes my report.
Thanks, David. I'm going to lump A and B together here. Consideration to approve the mental and behavioral health agreement with Next Step Clinic, and consideration to approve the Clarion County Children and Youth Services for the 25-26 service agreement. So moved.
Second.
Seconded, any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries.
Letter C, consideration to approve the updated school emergency operations and multi-hazard plan at the Allegheny Clarion Valley School District 2025. So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded, any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries.
Consideration to approve the following participants for the auditorium renovation committee as follows: David McDivitt, Superintendent; James Best, Director of Buildings and Grounds; Kelly Twilliger, School Board President; Kristen Thurber, Director of Education; Jennifer Lowry, Chorus Teacher; Logan Green, Band Teacher; John and Kathy Soroka, Auditorium Band. So moved.
Second.
Okay, were we not going to add Erin to this? So that
Yeah.
because she wanted some of the tech input on that too.
Yeah, somehow we omitted them. And we were going to add RJ in there as well.
Okay, so we need to add RJ and Erin to this?
Yeah,
committee?
Aaron.
Okay.
Yeah. Thanks, sorry about that.
Is everybody okay with that? I know we discussed that on last Monday, so. Okay, all those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries.
And then the enrollment numbers are attached.
Okay,
School police report. So, sir, and is Special Education Director.
Melanie, she's not here this evening. She has family obligation.
okay, we don't have any policy. We'll move on to facilities maintenance report.
Up at the high school and the elementary, I had Rennick Brothers come in and just kind of looked over the AC units and rooftop units, just to make sure they're up in shape. Up at the high school and the cafeteria, we did find a couple issues, getting some quotes to do some repairs on that. And that unit is approximately 20 plus years old, so I don't know if it's gonna turn into like a full replacement. Maybe we'll talk about that a little bit more, but just trying to get some
Jeff, would you do transportation?
Sure. Consideration to approve paying the rate of $1.75 per mile for van automobile transportation for the 2025-2026 school year. So moved.
Second.
Discussion.
Just keep in mind, that was part of the discussion we had from the workshop, that was a recommendation that Mr. Chairman had, and I put that in, I believe that's a 10-cent per mile increase, and puts it right in the middle of some of the local school districts.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries.
Consideration to approve the 2025-2026 Clarion County Career Center bus run with Bailey Busing, one bus at $155. So moved.
Second.
And that remained the same from the 24-25 school year.
Thank you. Sorry, didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, that's fine.
Any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries.
Consideration to approve discussion related to the 2025-2026 regular bus transportation based on the state formula pupil transportation cost index of 7.33%. So,
7.433.
oh, so.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to correct you, but just so we have it correct.
Second.
Okay, any discussion on that? I know we had looked at some different figures last week that Lori gave to us from the different schools. Any discussion on that? Okay, all those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries.
Consideration to approve the request from Myers Transportation to add a 2016 Honda Pilot, VIN number as printed, to their fleet. So moved.
Second.
The second, any discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries. Would you lead us through miscellaneous, John?
Sure. Career Center report?
So we're getting towards the end of the year up there. We are going to be looking for a welding instructor for next school year. Our welding instructor left to go back into industry. So we'll be looking for that, and I believe a classroom aide for that shop as well. So keep an eye out for that if anybody's interested in doing that. We're going to try to rent out the LPN building that's up at the Career Center there. It's an extra nursing building they used that's just sitting vacant now. So we signed a contract with Burford and Henry to hopefully rent that out. If we can rent it out, they'll obtain 6% of the total lease, and then the Career Center will get the rest of it. Right now, it's just sitting vacant. Tracy's trying to run it out on her own, but she's going to go with Burford and Henry to try and get better advertising to rent it out. The senior recognition night is this Thursday at the Cornerstone Church in Shippenville. So it'll be a good event. And then one note from Tracy's report that 97% of the students passed advanced or competent on their NOCTI exams, David. So that means only 2 students, the whole Career Center, or basic, everybody above, was advanced or competent in their field that they took their test on. So I thought that was fantastic for the Career Center. That's all I got.
Thank you. Intermediate unit report.
We don't have a report, John.
Any correspondence?
No correspondence.
Technology Committee?
We are actually meeting this Thursday at 3:30, so we'll have something for you in June.
Thank you. Athletic Committee update? We haven't had a meeting. And finally, Finance Committee update.
We haven't met.
Okay, any old business? Any new business? Okay, so we're going to break for an executive session following. We will not be conducting any more business, but we will adjourn at the end of the executive session. If anybody wants to stick around, say we're not planning to conduct any new business.
And we'll be discussing negotiations.
Yes.